Why India's passport rank is a lie. You've probably seen the headlines. India's passport gets stronger, rank jumps 5 spots. It sounds like great news, right? A sign of India's growing influence on the world stage. But what if I told you that's basically a lie? Or at the very least, it's not the whole truth. What if I told you that right now, you can actually travel to fewer countries without a visa than you could before this so-called improvement? No, that's not a mistake. It's the hidden reality of global power, and it is quietly shrinking your world. This is the paradox of power, and today, we're going to expose how global politics are making your Indian passport weaker, even as its rank goes up. Section 1. The headline versus the reality. Alright, let's get into the numbers, because that's where the whole story starts to get weird. In early 2026, the Henley Passport Index, the gold standard for this stuff, announced that India's passport rank had climbed 5 spots, from 85th to 80th in the world. On the surface, that looks like a clear win. A higher rank should mean more power, more access, more freedom. But when you dig just one layer deeper, the story completely falls apart. The very same report shows that while our rank went up, the number of countries an Indian passport holder can visit without a prior visa actually dropped. In 2025, we had visa-free or visa-on-arrival access to 57 countries. Today, in 2026, despite that better rank, that number is down to 55. Think about that for a second. Your passport is supposedly more powerful, but your world just got a little smaller. You have fewer options for a spontaneous holiday, a last-minute business trip, or a family visit. This isn't a small detail, it's the entire point. The power of a passport isn't some abstract number on a list. It's about where you can actually go. And this isn't even a new trend. Just a couple of years ago, in 2024, that number was 62. So, while the headlines are celebrating a jump in rank, the reality is a steady decline in our actual travel freedom. This is what I call the paradox of power, where a rising rank masks a falling reality. And to understand why this is happening, you first have to understand that the ranking system itself is a bit of a mirage. Section 2. The rules of the game, how rankings lie. So how on earth is it possible for a passport's rank to go up while its power goes down? The answer is in a simple but crucial detail. The Henley Passport Index is a relative ranking. It doesn't measure your passport's strength in a vacuum. It measures it against every other passport in the world. Imagine you're in a race. You could move from 10th place to 5th place, not because you started running faster, but because 5 other runners ahead of you tripped and fell. You're in a better position, sure, but your actual speed hasn't changed. In fact, you might have even slowed down a little. That's exactly what's happening here. Our rank improved to 80th place, partly because other countries saw their visa-free access fall even more sharply amid global shifts and tighter border controls. In this global race, India basically climbed the ladder because others fell further and faster. The ranking is just a competition. And while India is sharing that 80th spot with countries like Uzbekistan, we're still leagues behind our peers. Passports from Singapore grant access to 192 destinations. Japan and South Korea get you into 128. Most European nations are hovering around the 185 mark. Meanwhile, the bottom of the list is held by countries like Afghanistan, with access to just 24 destinations. The index simply ranks countries from most to least powerful. So, when headlines shout about an improved rank, they're only telling you about our position in the race. They're not telling you about our speed, our momentum, or the finish line. And most importantly, they're not telling you about the doors that have quietly closed right in front of us. If you're finding this breakdown useful, do me a favor and hit that like button. It tells the YouTube algorithm that these kinds of deep dives are important, and it helps more people find the real story behind the headlines. Section 3. The shrinking map, where you can no longer go. This isn't just a theoretical drop of 2 points. We're talking about real countries and real borders that have become harder for Indians to cross. The decline from 57 to 55 destinations is mainly because 2 countries changed their rules, Iran and Bolivia. Let's talk about Iran. In late 2025, Iran suspended its visa-free policy for Indian passport holders. This wasn't a random move. It was a direct response to a rise in human trafficking cases, where criminal networks were luring Indian nationals to Iran with fake job offers, only to kidnap them for ransom. Because the visa waiver system was being exploited, Tehran shut the door. What was once a simple, visa-free trip now requires a formal visa application, adding time and complexity for everyone. Then there's Bolivia. They didn't slam the doors shut, but they did something that has the same effect under the Henley Index's rules. Bolivia switched from a simple visa on arrival to a mandatory e-visa. While an e-visa sounds convenient, the Henley methodology is strict. If you need any kind of government approval before you travel, it doesn't count as visa-free. So just like that, another destination was kicked off our list. Sure, we gained visa-free access to a couple of places, like Malaysia, but the net result was still a loss. It's a classic case of 2 steps forward, 4 steps back. These changes don't happen in a vacuum. They're driven by global concerns, security, illegal immigration, and diplomatic give and take. Every country is constantly re-evaluating who it lets in. And when a system is misused, the easiest fix is often to tighten the rules for everyone. For the average Indian traveler, the result is the same. A world with more barriers. Section 4. The passport of the future. India's big bet. So, if the world is putting up more walls, what is India doing to tear them down? The answer might be in your next passport. India has begun the rollout of the new e-passport, and this is way more than just a cosmetic upgrade. On the outside, the e-passport looks almost identical to the old one, except for a small gold chip symbol on the cover. But inside that booklet is a radio frequency identification, RFID chip. This chip digitally stores your personal data, including your photo and biometric information like fingerprints, all securely encrypted. Why does this matter? Because the biggest reasons countries put up visa walls are security and a lack of trust. They want to be sure that the person holding the passport is who they claim to be, and that the document isn't a fake. Traditional passports can be tampered with. E-passports are a whole different ballgame. They are protected by a sophisticated cryptographic system called Public Key Infrastructure, PKI, which makes the data extremely difficult to forge or clone. If someone tries to alter the chip's data, the digital signature becomes invalid, immediately flagging it as a fraud at any immigration counter. By adopting this technology, which is already used by over 120 countries, India is aligning with global security standards. This is a long-term strategic move. It's about building trust. A country is far more likely to grant visa-free access if it's confident in the integrity of the travel documents it's accepting. The benefits are twofold. First, it dramatically boosts security. Second, for you, it means faster immigration. At airports with e-gates, you can just scan your passport and walk through. The government is now in the process of a phased, nationwide rollout, so going forward, newly issued passports will be e-passports. This is India's big bet on regaining travel freedom, by proving our system is secure, one chip at a time. So, back to the paradox. India's passport rank is up, but our travel freedom is down. We now see this isn't a contradiction. It's a sign of a complex world where a country's rank is relative, but the barriers to travel are very, very real. The headlines celebrated a hollow victory, a statistical illusion that hid the tangible loss of access to countries like Iran and Bolivia. The real measure of a passport's power isn't its rank, but its reach. And while India's reach has temporarily shrunk, the national push towards secure e-passports shows a real commitment to rebuilding that trust. The big question is, will this tech investment be enough to reverse the trend? Will India's diplomatic efforts and upgraded security convince the world to open its doors again? Or will global politics keep shrinking our map, one visa restriction at a time? The answer will define the true power of the Indian passport. What are your thoughts on this? Have you been affected by these visa changes? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want more deep dives into the hidden forces shaping our world, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next video. Please also like this video and subscribe to my Urban Monk Ness channel.